Good afternoon on this hot, sunny day. How the devil are you? It's Marie from Messy M Creations, bringing a little bit of Christmas to you because we can't resist. Oh, if technology would be my friend. There we go. No, we're still not. Yes, we are. There we go. Right. So I thought, I would just today showcase some of our gorgeous Christmas papers. Using the tailored tag punch and some Christmassy colours. So it's really simple to create some fabulous cards. Just need to get, I'm going to do one on Highland Heather because that's one of the coordinating colours with our beautiful snowflakes. And bear with. So I've managed not to melt today. Oh, actually we'll do one in Misty Moonlight. We'll do a couple because we do love a bit of Misty Moonlight. So really quick, easy, simple cards with papers. So I have, as I say, I've cut some shapes in out of using the tailored tag punch, which cuts these fantastic little shapes here. So I've cut an assortment out, and we're just going to quickly create a couple of cards. So this works with any paper, but I just thought I'd showcase this fabulous paper in the snowflakes in the hope that it makes us all feel a little bit cooler. So if you are live, please do say hi, and if you end up watching on catch up, then please say hi so I know you've managed to watch. I do appreciate the time that you take to watch my lives. So in the traditional measurements, actually I'll do one card one way. So 10.5 and 14.9 are our two measurements that we use. Whether we cut and score depends on which way round the card is. So I'm just going to do two different cards. So we have one in portrait and one in landscape. So same measurements, just different places that we cut and score. Oh, and the other thing that I do like to do, so what we'll do with the Misty Moonlight, so for the, actually let's go back, Highland Heather, some of these papers have got gorgeous little bits of Highland Heather in, so you can see how easy it is to coordinate to make beautiful cards. So got some, not sure which one to, actually let's try that one. Let's have available. So I pre-cut these because I didn't think it would be very exciting for you to watch me, whether you're live or on replay, to watch me actually cut. That's not quite the right shade. Lots of pieces of card, and of course always remember the paper's got two sides, but what I do like to do is cut a little section off. So I'm going to cut a 2.5 centimetre section off the side of one card. So it's just, before you think I'm going slightly crazy, so I find it beneficial to start on an edge, and then kind of mix and match your, no, they're the same, mix and match your papers, don't use the same one over and over. Now I just happened to have made that to the exact fit because we need a little gap around the pieces, but you can see how easy it is. So I'm going to take it slightly higher. So the first one we're going to place is in that top corner. And the other thing that I would recommend with this, I've just had the I think that one's got a bit of glue in it. The realisation I was gluing yesterday and running out rather a lot. So, but the great thing is, pack of papers, pick a couple of different cardstocks because we've got the kind of mints and blues. So when you buy the pack of papers, what you get on the back is, it says Balmy Blue, Coastal Cabana, Highland Heather, Misty Moonlight, Night of Navy, Pacific Point, Pool Party and Whisper White. So that's Pool Party, that kind of paler green. So you can quite easily create beautiful cards. And the reason I suggest wet glue is just so that you get that little bit of wriggle room to make sure that the little tailored tag shapes are straight before you glue them. So you can see just wondering whether to how easily. So I think the biggest challenge often is trying to make sure that you don't double up. So what we don't want is all of the same ones kind of together. Does that make sense? So we just play around. Until we are happy with our pattern. I'm going to add one of those ones. So that's why it's great to have a few already cut out, because then you can just play around. Oh, there's a nice one. That bit's going to be lovely. See, and because every side's got two sides, every paper even, it's got two sides, we can very quickly. So essentially pop in the foot complete ones, as it were, in first. And the other thing, oh, I just realised what I forgot. I forgot to... And you can allow as little or as much of that card base to show through. When I do the Highland Heather one, I'll show you with less. Quite a bit of... Oh, just getting confused as to which... So many beautiful things. Oh, hi, I've got Jane and Pam showing us watching. Hope you're not melting in the heat and finding a way of staying cool. Sitting in the freezer, I think, would be a fine idea today, but I think that would be quite nice as a part. So what we can do with the parts is cut it off, and then you get two halves. And the other thing that I like to do, which is what I forgot to get the greeting, but you can see it's actually quite therapeutic just sitting and working out your layout. You could have loads of bits already kind of cut, and then just play around, glue pot in hand. But what I do need is a greeting. So what I think looks rather fantastic is to have a greeting that floats off that edge. Oh, actually, before we do that, we'll decide our greeting in a moment. Actually, I might do the two greetings together. I think we'll just have a little... Oh, I'm being a bit indecisive today, aren't I? I used to be indecisive and now I'm not so sure. It's the heat. It's going to my head. So say we just need to cut that off, and then, as if by magic, we have a piece to fill in our little gap there. So it's not wasteful, because if you keep all your little bits, they all fit somewhere along the line. So again, I just want to keep that in line along that way. Try and keep a consistent width. I'm not going to cut that off just yet until it's a little bit wetter, drier, wetter. Good Lord, really am losing them. But the great thing with the snowflakes is the background changes so much that you really can showcase beautiful papers. So this one I'm just going to glue that top section, and then just make sure I've got that spacing pretty much on. But you can see those bits I've got to cut off, I'm then going to be able to fit into these little spaces, so we do not get a lot of wastage, which is fantastic. So my wee greeting's going to pop there. So I think with that little tiny bit there, I'm going to put the glue on the card rather than the piece, because gluing that tiny little bit would not be easy. Just on the reverse side, cutting those bits off, and then look at that, it's an almost perfect fit. But again, because that's a teeny bit, I'm going to put the glue on the bit of card rather than the other way around, and I might actually just give that a simple blue background. It's playing with the different sides of the paper until you're happy with what you're creating. I think that would be quite all right. So we could do the whiter. Oh no, let's do that side. Okay, I'm going to put the glue on the card rather than the other way around. Oh, look at that. Virtually no waste. And whatever bits I have left, I will be keeping, because it's a card that's quite stunning and therapeutic. So again, this one, get my scissors, just cut up that edge there and along the base there. And so it's just needs to be a teeny bit close, because I'm, there we go there. So this top edge just needs a tiny bit taking off there, so just a good sharp pair of scissors just takes that edge off. This one I'm going to cut along there and then cut up. Oh no, I don't know why I'm doing it from that side. Dopey. I'm being all fingers and thumbs now, aren't I? Let's just cut it down like that. There we go. Just making that very complicated for myself. So all those little bits, not these little bits, those little bits can go in the bin. Then, because I didn't pick it up beforehand, we find our, oh, we've lost it. Oh, there it is. So all we have to consider is what greeting, so what we can do is if you're not sure whether a greeting is going to fit, you can pop it over. Oh, that's going to fit quite nicely like that. So that's going to fit within the tag. So all I need to do, so essentially you can just rest it over, because we're going to cut the exact same size. I'm going to use my Misty Moonlight ink on a because I'm going to cut it out. I want it quite high on the paper because I don't want to miss out on the corners, because we have a top and a bottom obviously. So what we then can do, stamped image is there, and just eyeball it to make sure that's bang in the middle. Now what you could do, we could add a little sponged edge. So I think potentially Christmas is the last thing people are thinking about today. Too busy melting in a corner, but Christmas is going to come whether it's hot or cold, so I for one have got to make quite a few Christmas cards. Well, as the chances are I won't have seen my customers for some time, I think definitely going to need to see them. Ooh, so I'm just going to, right, okay, we'll justify that afterwards. Adjust it? Justify? Good Lord. So it's hot weather, it goes to my feet and my head. Got swollen ankles, got my special little elephant ankles going on. So that, see, but you can see that is hanging slightly over the edge of the card. Haha. Before you do that, make sure you're using not a scrap piece of card. I'm using a scrap piece of card that's got something on the back of it. We'll find a way of repairing that. So because I've cut that, I've obviously lost my sponge edge, so I'm just going to sponge that again. And then I'm going to need to mask that. So actually, do you know what the simplest way of doing that is? Having a little special something on the inside. Oh, look at that. Perfect. So again, wet glue just makes it a lot easier to line up, because what I'm going to need to line up at this point, so it just shows you, because I cut the end off, I need to be aware that what I need to do is line up from this side. So that glue, can you see how it's just moving? It's just allowing me to move that so that it's in the correct position. So that it's masking it from this side, and then all I need to do from the front is just cut that. And card recipient would never realise what happened there. So there you go. No such thing as a craft error that cannot be fixed. Just means you've got a little snowflake on the inside, a little tailored tag on the inside. So there you go, that was number one. Oh, hi Ali. Sorry, I've come on early today, so it's probably confused everybody, hasn't it? got an online little yoga class, so actually I won't do, I was going to cut the edge off again there, but I'm not going to. So that's my one in Misty Moonlight, where I cut the edge off and that just causes that little flap. Now the other thing that we could do is put a beautiful strip of paper underneath there. That would be rather nice, wouldn't it? That's a little flash of brilliance, just to prove. So I cut off 2.5 centimetres, so I think I'm going to make a little flash that's just over 3 centimetres. Just so that it's completely covering that. So you could, don't know, that does it add, detract? It looks nice when it opened, but oh, not sure about that. What do you think? I'm going to leave that sitting there. So we could have it plain, or we could have a little flash. Oh, how confusing. Or we could put it in a bit. Oh, there's a thought. Anyway, right, on to this one. So this is Highland Heather, which wouldn't necessarily be a colour that you might choose for Christmas, but I think it's rather nice. So I'm going to start, I'm going to match to this edge. So this one I gave quite a big border, so this one I'm just going to show you a narrower border around them so that you see less of that Highland Heather, but you can still see that all the papers coordinate beautifully. So I'm going to push that right up to that edge and the point onto there. Because there's all this beautiful, see, that one's probably too much pool party in that one, but you can see that one's got a kind of half and half thing going on. So that's going to be nice. Again, try, if you're doing a bigger piece, try and be mindful of where you don't need to glue. So we still want a tiny gap, but I'm going to make a much smaller gap. So try and avoid putting the glue on the bit that's going to be hanging off the end, because it makes it harder to reuse it. Then we have this gorgeous snowflakey paper. So it's just nice to kind of surround yourself with a few different options, but I'm going to push that much closer. So what we need to be careful of is not, oh, actually that one's got quite a bit of, that's quite a nice little combo though. So these are the more, no, they're all more pool party. Pool party in the Pacific Point, so we definitely don't want those. Definitely don't want those ones. These don't have, so you can just create a big old pile of papers and just play, because I think this, that's got a bit of, they probably don't really feature. I can see a little bit of that. I might just add that one because this is, I can see a little bit of the Highland Heather on that edge. So again, because this is a smaller one, I'm going to put the glue on the card rather than the piece. So I'm just going to make sure I get that bit. And again, pushing it up slightly higher. Oh, just watching whether you, if you end up getting glue on your, got a bit of glue on the, and I haven't got my glue thing handy, and I don't think, I mean, one eye's not going to work on that one. Oh no, I don't want that one because that one's the same as, so again we're just playing the game of trying not to be too repetitive in, oh actually that's quite a nice one. So I want to coordinate with the colour, but not try and, I don't want to create a pattern that I cause a repeat, if that makes any sense. I mean, it's difficult not to do depending on the number of pieces you are using, because again I don't want those two next to each other. Oh, how about that one? So again, this one, because it's a bigger piece, I am going to put the glue on the piece, but remembering that that edge will not be used. So you can see I'm much tighter in. So you can choose to make a feature of your kind of background card base or not. Now I'm wondering, oh, that's too, actually that's got a few, that's got some little blobs in, so let's bring a little bit more of that in. That's probably sufficiently different. But as I say, it works with any papers, but it's a fantastic way. I thought I'd just showcase some of our fabulous papers. So again, that's a smaller bit, so a bit of glue on there and just kind of squidge it around, play around with that movement just to get that edge there. Panic not, we will get a greeting in as well. Oh, I don't even know why I glued it that way, because that's completely the wrong. There you go. We're having a day where we really are showing how human we are. We need to use the other side that coordinates. So that bit will get cut off and used on another card because I've glued the wrong side of that. So keep focused on which way up your pieces are going. This is a real I'm human. This is how you correct your mistakes session. Not quite what I intended, but useful for you to see. Gosh, it's just so hot, just melting. Certainly in my area, the rain we have forecast on Thursday, I think. I don't think we're going to get it any earlier than Thursday in this area. We might get a few splobs, but we are getting proper rain on Thursday. So come Thursday, I'll be like, no, don't like it. It's too wet. So I think there we're going to go with that. So again, because that's a small piece, I'm going to put the glue on the card. But you can see why I would use wet glue for this rather than tape, because tape offers you no movement whatsoever. So I'm just letting some of those edges dry a little bit before I chop them off. I'm going to show a little bit more of the blue on that one there. So just at the back of the card, cutting straight down, any of those little flashes showing down the edge with stray glue there, just a quick tissue, just to wipe that bit of glue off before I trim it. If I do get glue on my scissors, I clean them with WD-40. A product with many uses. but I always keep it handy in my craft room. I find it quite useful for cleaning. Oh, there's me gluey one. So that is, I'm going to put that aside to dry. But you can see how, although I've got these little teeny weeny bits, and they're too small. They're too small. We won't keep those little teeny weeny bits. But oh, it's all getting stuck. But you can see how, see that's too close to that one, but that will be cool in that corner. I might end up just needing to cut a few more of something to finish off. I mean, the other thing is nothing stops you leaving some, oh, twisted that slightly as I took my hand away. There we go. I actually might show leaving that one blank and these two corners blank. So I just need, so actually we could, let's just pop that one, no, let's do it that way up. There we go, pop that one in there. Again, it's a smaller piece, so I'll just put a bit of glue on the card. Pop that down there. So I'm going to use the same greeting as I did before, but obviously not going to be doing it in the Misty Moonlight I used before. We're going to use our Highland Heather. So I'll do the other end of the card, clean off my stamp. Sure that's not too, there we go. So again, what we've got to remember is that corner of that corner punch does need to have space, because the last thing we want is a little piece missing. I've got something on the background of that. I can see a little smudge, so we won't use that bit. We'll do it here. This fits rather well, this greeting. So again, my tailored tag punch. Just visually lining it up. I mean, nothing, no, it doesn't quite. You could do it at a jaunty angle. I feel the need to do it straight though. Don't want to look like I've had a few gin and tonics when I was making my cards. So just visually punching that through. And then taking my sponge, making sure I use a different side of it. Just going straight on the edge. Like that. So just a very a very simple Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And I might pop a couple of dimensionals on the back of this just to add. So before I take those off, so basically we could put the greeting there. It could go over. So if for example you did one and you maybe didn't like a particular square, you could put that right over the, it's not a square at all, is it? The particular shape. Or you can slightly take it off the shape. You can kind of, you know, where you put that greeting is entirely up to you. So that's the worst decision that you've got to, well, it's not the worst, you've got to balance all the bits, but so, oh, it's quite nice down the bottom there. Don't know whether to pop it. Actually, I'll pop it there. I'm just going to go there. So hopefully you can see that's a couple of fairly quick and easy cards to make. Just to get that on that edge and pop that down. And I guess to make it look more sensible, we might just cut those bits off, mightn't we? Should we do that? look, I forgot. So those are definitely big enough. So keep those bits because they can fill in those odd little corners if you wish. So I think that piece is too small. That comes off of there. And ultimately, if for any reason you decided you wanted to... No, we can't do that one because it's too similar. No, too similar. What have we got on the other side of this? Oh, so we could do... You could add a corner. You could not add a corner. Or you can just leave it. But all those extra little bits, just keep. It's only when they get to the kind of really small pieces that it's not necessarily worth keeping. So, there you go. Haven't decided. Maybe as people are watching on catch up, whether we have it over to the side, whether we have it part way across, or whether we don't have it at all. So let me know when you're on catch up what you think about adding that extra little strip. So let me know that. I look forward to seeing you again later in the week, and stay cool and stay safe. See you soon. Bye.